on to a potentially serious bump in the road for Apple's self-driving car team. Over the last few months, multiple top managers have stepped down, which could be a sign of attrition at a division in what could involve a big, important product for the future. Let's get more from Bloomberg Tech's Mark Gurman. So, Mark, what have you learned about who is leaving the Apple Car project and why?
Hey, Emily, thank you so much for having me. So at the top of the Apple Car project is the project's leader. That's Doug Field. He's the VP of Special Projects, as he's called at Apple. Before Apple, of course, he was the chief vehicle engineer at Tesla. And he was one of the brains behind the Model 3. As we know, that's one of the biggest, self-driving, or not self-driving, the biggest electric cars on the market right now. It's the envy of the industry. Beneath him is an executive management team for the car project of about 10 to 12 people. Well, 3 of those people, so a decent chunk of them, have left over the past 4 to 5 months. Earlier this year, Benjamin Lyon, who was in charge of much of the engineering for the car project and one of the original creators of the project, left. After him, Jamie Wado, who was a big-name engineer at Waymo and NASA, was in charge of safety and regulatory matters for the project, departed. And in the last few days, Dave Scott, another manager related to robotics for the car, departed the project too. So a few interesting names leaving the project at a very interesting time. We're sort of at the recreation stage of this big Tesla competitor that the company hopes to launch later in the decade.
Well, that's my next question is, what's the actual status of Apple's car project? I mean, Apple's, of course, very secretive about this project, and most of what we know is from your reporting.
It's still extremely early, right? They don't have, big prototypes that they are testing on the roads. They don't have a manufacturing partner. They don't have a car partner if they're looking to go in this direction. So it's still very much in the conceptual and exploratory stage, with the eyes eventually on releasing this car. Now, here's my opinion. Let's say you are one of the top leaders of a project that is destined to be one of the biggest deals that Apple, this $2 trillion company, the maker of the iPhone, the company Steve Jobs created, right? Are you really going to leave the company right at the beginning stages if you necessarily believe, in the mission, believe in this product ending up happening, believing in this car being able to be a real rival to Tesla? I don't necessarily think so. Of course, there's many other factors at play, but I think 3 major departures in the past few months is quite notable for that reason alone.
How much does it matter if Apple has a big play in cars or not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it matters today, but what Apple wants to avoid is Amazon, Uber, or other companies, Google, coming out with their own consumer-grade car or car fleets that really begin to rival up against Apple. This is what Apple doesn't want. They don't want Amazon to really have a self-driving company within Amazon. They don't want a fleet to really gain so much steam in society, and then Amazon and another company that creates that fleet to come out with phones or other devices that compete with Apple. Let's say you get really glued to this hypothetical Google, or let's say you get really glued to Waymo, right? And it becomes a big part of your life, that Google service. Then maybe you're going to start, ditching your iPhone or other Apple products for other Google products. So what all these tech companies are trying to do is they're trying to create ecosystems within themselves. And it's pretty clear that self-driving technology in cars is the direction consumers are going. And so Apple can't necessarily, in the long term, really afford to lose out on that. In the next 10 years, does Apple really need a car? No, but this is long-term thinking, so I think it will end up being very important to the company in the future.
Right, and of course, Apple's ecosystem has been a huge key to its success across its range of products. Bloomberg Tech's Mark Gurman. As always, Mark, thanks so much